Hello friends and viewers, some of you may know me, however most will not. I am your resident tutor AG SciFIre, and I wanted to take a moment today to talk about my absolute favorite move in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. C4. Snake's down special, C4, is a powerful explosive that can be planted on floors, walls, and even opponents. It deals 21.4% damage while fresh and has incredibly high knockback. C4 can be detonated manually by pressing down special again, or it will detonate automatically roughly 26 seconds after it has been placed. There are actually 3 different C4 animations. The standard standing animation will plant the C4 on the ground on frame 20 with an FAF or first actionable frame of 44. This is actually the slowest plant animation unless you stick it to an opponent or a wall, in which case the C4 will be planted on frame 10 with an FAF of 25. Making it the fastest plant animation, sorta. At any point after frame 10, but before frame 20, if an opponent gets too close to Snake during the animation, Snake will continue the standard plant animation, but C4 will be attached to the opponent instead of the floor. The next variation is a crouching animation, where Snake places a C4 on the ground while lying on his stomach, which will produce a C4 on frame 14 with an FAF of 34. This is the only variation where sticking C4 to an opponent or a wall is not possible. The final variation is the aerial version. If you use down special in the air, C4 will be released from Snake's hand on frame 16 with an FAF of 33. If stuck to an opponent, it will be planted on frame 10, but your FAF will still be frame 33. In most situations, aerial C4 will be the best version to perform, but we'll go into detail later. Here are a few other important characteristics of C4. When planted on a wall or floor, C4 cannot be interacted with until it explodes, either from the timer running out or via Snake's detonation. C4 cannot be reflected, picked up, or pocketed. When C4 is planted, there will be a red light that blinks for 2.5 seconds or 150 frames. This same light appears when C4 is initially stuck to a character. For the first 2 seconds of being stuck to a character, C4 can only be removed via detonation or other character-specific means of removal. After 2 seconds, if C4 comes into contact with another character's hurtbox, it will transfer to that character. This process of light blinking and transferring will continue until C4 either falls off or detonates. C4 will still detonate automatically after 26 seconds, regardless of when or how many times it has been transferred. After 12 seconds without transferring between characters, C4 will fall off automatically. C4 can also fall off if you take too much knockback, and Pokemon Trainer can even dislodge C4 on command with down special, even during the initial 2-second window. When detonated, the character's launch angle will be the direction opposite to the side the C4 is stuck to. This can become pretty obscure as there are many places C4 can be on a character. Those are the essential characteristics of C4 that can be really useful to know. Now for the fun part, Snake's C4 self-stick tech. As I make this video, I pray that this does not get patched out, but ignoring my pleas to Sakurai, let's dive into this. The earliest mention of this technique I have found was on December 21st, 2018 when Shin Susanoo posted the following tweet. Now, I've labbed this myself, and it's fairly consistent, although tricky. With enough practice, it's not too hard to pull off, but you need to remain unsolicited long enough to actually do it. The trick is performed by running off of the top battlefield platform and, after a few frames, you do a C4B reverse. This can be made much easier if used with a fast fall. If performed correctly, Snake will ledge cancel the C4 plant animation and you will see him holding C4 in his hand. There will be no blinking light and sometimes his gun holster will make it look like you are holding C4, so be careful with that. If you land in the center of the platform and plant C4, you fail to press the opposite direction soon enough. If you land in the same spot planting C4 the way you came from, you performed a turnaround, which means you were holding it down and back, then special, which means you're trying to be reversed too soon. If you missed the platform completely, you did the B reverse correctly, but way too early. Sometimes you will ledge cancel the animation but have no C4. In this case, you are doing the special too high in the air and auto-canceling the animation, so adjust how long and when you fastfall to get it just right. Other times, Snake will float at the edge of the platform while dropping C4 and, after a short period, will begin to fall. Yeah, I've got nothing on that one. After a bit of testing, I've managed to eke out what's happening. If you land on the ground during the first 9 frames of the aerial C4 animation, Snake will simply land on the ground and plant the C4. From frames 10 to 15, Snake will land with no lag and there will be no C4. If you land on the ground on or after frame 16, Snake will drop his C4 and suffer no landing lag. You might think that you just want to ledge cancel on frame 16 since that's when the C4 is generated, but that isn't the case. What you actually want to do is ledge cancel between frames 10 and 19. Now let me explain. During the C4 plant animation, C4 has already been generated, it's just stuck in Snake's hand until it has either been planted on a surface or dropped in the air. In most cases, when C4 is interrupted, Snake simply puts it away. However, if the animation is cancelled after frame 9 by transitioning from the ground to the air, Snake will interrupt the animation, but he will not put away the C4. Transitioning between the ground and the air before frame 9 will not cancel the animation. Snake will simply complete the animation for whichever state he is in on frame 9. I confirmed this by using a windbox to push Snake off a ledge during the C4 animation, and wouldn't you know it, there it is in his hands. Knowing this changes everything and can help find new ways to self-stick. Here are just a few. Understanding how this tech works can help us look for new ways to replicate it in the middle of a match. Using a regular running full hop, the longest I've been able to slide before cancelling the animation is 3 frames, although other factors such as windboxes and slants can potentially increase the leniency on this. Once you've successfully accomplished the self-stick tech via any method, C4 will then follow all the same rules as if it were planted, with a couple noteworthy exceptions. Number 1. C4 will not fall off of Snake for any reason after any amount of time or knockback. C4 will even respawn with Snake if he is KO'd. However, it will still detonate after the 26-second timer is up. Number 2. C4 will transfer to other characters upon coming into contact with their hurtbox as per usual, but there is no 2-second window before swapping, so it will transfer immediately if able. If it does transfer, C4 will then behave as a normally planted C4. However, C4 will also stick to any floors it comes in contact with while in Snake's hand, but not walls. Any animation or action that brings C4 close enough to the ground will transfer C4 to that surface, which is both a great and not so great thing. On Pokemon Stadium 1, if you lay down on top of the black trim, the C4 will be planted beneath the surface, making it impossible to detect. Here is a non-exhaustive list of common tournament actions whose animations will cause C4 to stick to the floor. Crouching, down tilt, backwards roll, dash attack, every aerial landing animation excluding Nair. Being knocked down. If you miss your tech, C4 will fall through the platform and even the stage. If you tech in neutral or either direction, C4 will be transferred. Up special landing lag. Up special landing lag can be negated with another animation, such as pulling, cooking, or throwing a grenade, using a Nikita missile, or landing with Nair lag. Air dodge will not negate special landing lag and as such will not prevent the transfer of C4. Every ledge option, although you can let go then jump from ledge to prevent this from happening. And the biggest one, moving through platforms. If you fall through a platform from above, it will stick every time. If you short hop under a platform, it will also stick to the platform every time. You can usually full hop upward through the platform, although sometimes double jumping through will cause it to stick. If you pull a grenade and, while cooking it, jump through a platform, the C4 will fall off and land on the stage below. Note that if you fall through the platform while cooking a grenade from above, it will stick to the platform as expected. If you air dodge into a wall or use up special while riding against a wall, C4 will fall off.
A lot of players have to adapt to is if they're sticking a shield.
Well, that's absolutely everything I found out from practicing this tech. I sincerely hope you'll find it useful, and if you have any more questions, feel free to message me on Twitter at SciFIre SSB or drop a comment below. I'll be doing my best to find as much cool tech as possible and explaining it as best I can. Before I ended the video, I wanted to give a quick shout out to D.I. Joe, who made not one but 2 separate videos on Snake's self-stick. I had actually just seen his second video while editing this and realized there was some similar information, albeit provided in a much more concise manner, so definitely go check those out. I'd also like to thank my friends who supported me and helped me through making this video. I seriously love you guys. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, thank you so much for watching.